Let's wait like for 5 minutes before we start. Let's wait for 5 minutes before we start. We are waiting for 5 minutes. Please bear with us. Please, if you can hear me, kindly drop an emoji in the comment section. Drop an emoji in the comment section. And we have 3 minutes more. All right. Okay. 3 minutes more. Ebuka, welcome. Can you hear me, Ebuka? Ebuka, can you hear me? All right. All right. So we are waiting for our colleagues to join. We are waiting for them to join. Just in 2 minutes' time, we are going to start. In 2 minutes' time, we are going to start. Okay. 2 minutes more. Okay, like a minute more now. All right, Ebuka, can you speak now?
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Perfect.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. We are starting in few seconds now. All right, guys. Good evening, my colleagues. Yeah. So I'm going to be talking about Wireshark today. As you all know, uh, we have been taking through this class already, but we just have to go through it again so that we can totally understand everything. Yeah. So I actually made a slide. I made a slide for Wireshark. So I'm going to be talking about Wireshark today. So Wireshark is actually an open source tool that lets you watch every packet crossing a network in real time. And what do I mean by that? And what I mean by that is that Wireshark is actually a packet sniffing tool and a network analyzer tool that intercepts network traffic. So that's basically what Wireshark does. So, and it's going to on a network that you have, it's going to provide you with packet list, packet details, packet bytes, and a lot of other stuff in there. So now let's take for instance like an highway analogy. Highway analogy. Let's say you are on a double lane, you are going to see a lot of cars moving in different directions. But what Wireshark actually lets you do in this sense is that it will let you stand on the road and watch every car. Car in this instance, I mean packet. It will let you watch every car pass by. You'll be able to read their license plate. You'll be able to peek inside the car, and you're able to see the amount of people sitting down in the car. But you won't be able to intercept their movement, or you won't be able to like affect them in any way, like stopping them from going forward or directing them to move backward. So that's actually what Wireshark is. Wireshark allows you to sniff through packets on the network. So yeah, so in practice, let's say a user reports the website is loading slowly. So instead of you as a cybersecurity specialist, you open your Wireshark and you watch everything that is happening on that particular server. So in order for you to know maybe the server is slow for you, or is that the data or the packets are getting lost along the way. Wireshark allows you to monitor a network, the network traffic, in order for you to confirm if there are any issues in this particular network. So now let's talk about the use cases, people that use Wireshark and what they use it for. So one of the things you use Wireshark for is for network troubleshooting. So you're able to diagnose slow networks, you're able to diagnose drop packets or devices that can't connect to a particular network. Also, Wireshark allows you to perform security analysis to allow you to spot scans. Let's say somebody is trying, like an attacker is trying to scan through your website in order to see any open ports and the likes. So you'll be able to detect malwares, you're able to detect data leaving and where data leaving where it shouldn't. That's like man in the middle attacks and stuff like that. Then application debugging, digital forensics, and it also allows you to learn how network works. So now, who are the people that use Wireshark? We have network administrators, we have penetration testers or ethical hackers, we have digital forensics investigators, we have SOC analysts, we have developers and QA engineers and IT students. So Wireshark is not a tool built for hackers, but hackers can actually use this tool to their advantage. What do I mean by that? Is that they can actually use it to listen and to capture packets on a particular network, but it can't allow them like crack your website. Probably is going to like send attacks to your website and the likes. It can't do that, but it can only listen. Just like the analogy I made earlier, that Wireshark will allow you to monitor the movement of traffics and you'll be able to like monitor everything, but you won't be able to do anything. You just see everything as they are going to and fro. Probably anything happens in the network, you'll be able to see it with Wireshark. So a SOC analyst at a bank uses Wireshark daily to double check alerts from automated security tools, confirming whether an alert is real or a false alarm. So what this is trying to like tell us is that Wireshark can actually allow you to detect if something is real or it is not real. Yeah, there are a lot of filters combination for Wireshark, and Ebuka is going to be taking us through some of it. So in few minutes time now. So you can actually use HTTP, the filter HTTP, to look for only web traffic. For DNS, you can use DNS to look for only DNS packets. Then for ports, you can actually specify the port you are trying to look for. And this port 80 is the default port for website. This is the default port that website uses. And HTTP.request is a filter that allows you to check for only HTTP requests and not the responses. And a lot of other common filters that we have outside there. And actually, Wireshark can also help you to detect unusual traffic, like port scanning, allows you to see if anybody is trying to scan your port, scan any open ports. If you see any unusual DNS request, probably somebody is repeatedly looking up on a domain over time. That's just like a possible malware sign. Then repeated connection resets. This may indicate a block or refused attack attempts. With all these things, if you use the tcp.flags.reset equals to 1, you'll be able to see all the connection requests that the attacker has sent over time on the network and be able to pinpoint the IP address and know where the particular network is coming from, and you'll be able to like block it. Then large unexpected transfers. A device suddenly sends a large volume of data at an odd hour. If you remember, during one of our classes, we talked about uh, DDoS and DOS. So the Wireshark can actually help you to detect if a DDoS is happening on a particular network, or probably it's coming to a website, and DD or a DOS also. We have denial of service, which means the attack is coming, or the request is coming from just an IP address, like a MAC address, while the DDoS means there are lots of devices sending packets, traffic into that particular network at once. And what it does is just for them to break down the particular network. So with Wireshark, you can actually detect these things. Then there are some other errors which we have in our PDF. You can read through all of them. The 301/302 means redirect, that the page is moved. You have to, let's say you go to www.google.com, then you are being redirected to www.google.ie. So once you see 301/302, you mean that's like like a redirection uh, error code. Then 403 forbidden. This is very common, very, very common on websites and the likes. Then 404 also is very common. When, let's say, you input, maybe you go to Netflix, you now search netflix.com slash Wireshark, you are going to get a 404 error because it does not exist. The page doesn't exist. Then we have 500 error and a lot of other errors outside there. So now we're going to be moving to the practical section of this, which Ebuka is going to take over the stuff. Okay, all right, Ebuka, you are up.
All right, good evening, everyone. Please, I don't. Hopefully, you can hear me. Can you hear me? Um, Hi guys.
We
You
can
can
hear
just
you.
drop
We can hear you.
it. Oh, okay. So I'm just going to go straight into it, so I don't get to take people's time. So today we'll be looking at Wireshark, and Peter already explained the theory part and things that what Wireshark is about. So we're just going to dive straight into our VM. So I'm going to be sharing my screen. Just Just can you see my screen? Hi Peter, please, since I'm not on the YouTube, I won't be able to see people's comments. So just let me know what is on the comment if they can see my screen or not. So I just opened up our VM, right? I just opened up the VM. So first things first, which was an issue I had when we were carrying out the class, was I was not able to copy and paste. So I think we should all do that first. So if you are not able to copy and paste, especially in the class when we're having the class, we're not able to copy and paste some links that were given to us. All you have to do is just if you have only Kali Linux, just select Linux, go to settings. When you go to settings, it opens up like this. General, if yours is in basic, change it to experts, and then just click on features. Right, when you click on features, you will see this here, this shared clipboard. Mine was around disabled, so if yours is disabled, change them to bi-directional. So you can just change both of them to bi-directional and press OK. Remember, you have to do this when your Kali Linux is not on. So my Kali Linux is off. Once you change to bi-directional, and then you just go OK. And that saves that. You can see that my Kali Linux is off. It wasn't on when I was doing this. So I'm going to start the my Kali Linux now. So it's coming up. Just give it a few. So once it comes up, first thing we'll do is there are two ways to capture packets, right? Packets in this case is also known as data. There are two ways to capture packets. One is a live capture. So in the sense that you are currently listening or you are currently monitoring a live website. So maybe like going to your website. So imagine you have like a business. So you imagine you have like a business and you are able to in real time see what's happening there, seeing the IP addresses that are requesting information from your site, seeing how informations are being communicated across both you as the destination and other IP addresses also. That's one. And then the second way we can also use Wireshark is by downloading a file, right? So an example we're giving was that we should imagine that we are in oh, I'm too fast. Look, sorry guys. Okay, I'll take it slowly. So let me just go back to this one. Sorry. Thanks for letting me know. Well, my Kali is running now. So remember, don't run your Kali. Don't run your Kali. Just leave it powered off. Go to settings, which is, I'm still in my VM. I'm like in my VM, right? You go to settings, you click on settings. When you click on settings, you are coming to this place here that says feature, right? We click on it. And then you have this that is saying these two things here, shared clipboard, drag and drop. Mine was in disabled because I was having this issue on the class. So just change that disabled, change it to bidirectional, right? Once you change it to bidirectional, you just click OK. So that way now, the way it is now, you're able to copy and paste in your VM or your Kali Linux or whatever. Yes, in your Kali Linux, you're able to copy and paste, right? So that's what I did. And remember, your Kali needs to be off, right? Your Kali needs to be off. So is everyone fine? Now, please just drop a chat in the comments that I can move on. I'm trying not to make this class drag. So just let me know if I can move on. Maybe I'll just go ahead and move on. Okay, so now you can go ahead and open your Kali Linux, right? So now I've already opened mine, so I'm just going to go to it here. So you open your Kali Linux and you can now put in your username and password. So I'm just putting my comment. Okay, so mine is coming up. So now we are in our Kali Linux. That's what you're currently seeing. We're currently in our Kali Linux. So first thing I want to do now is that, remember I spoke about two things. Okay, before you guys said I was too fast. Apart from getting a live capture packet, you can also, so imagine you are working for a company, imagine you're working for, let's say, google.com, and you're part of the security team. And for some reason there was a breach, or there was an issue, let's say the day before. And then you come into the office and your manager can send a packet capture file for you to say, Benjamin or Neka, this is the the packet capture file of yesterday. We want you to go through it and see if you can find any vulnerabilities or anything, any issue with it, right? So in this case, now this is not more a live capturing. This is something that happened yesterday, but you're being sent this file to actually check what happened. Do you understand? So that's the two ways to capture files in Wireshark. So first of all, let's go ahead and open up Wireshark. Let's first of all go ahead and open up. Just ignore my own here. I was the one that put it here, but I'm just going to show you how it is, because I'm sure you guys, your own is not in this place, right? So you go up here, you see where you have this top navigation value. If you hover on it, you can see applications, you can see all this, but this is what we are concerned about. Where you see that dragon, the dragon icon, so just click on it, and then I'm trying to take it very slow. So click on it and then search for Wireshark. So I'm going to search for Wireshark now. Let's see. So Wireshark. So is this one we are going for? You can just maybe just search everything for. Not wrong. I'm not. It's this one we are going for here. So I want to click on it. So I want to click on it, and now it's open. So we're currently inside Wireshark, that's inside our Kali Linux, right? So the next thing we're going to do, again, this class is reiterating what happened in the last class, right? So the next thing we're going to do now is I want to show how you can capture packets live, like live capturing of packets, right? So what we're going to do is to open up the browser in our Kali Linux, not browser on your laptop. You know, we are currently in our VM, in our virtual machine, right? So we are going to open the browser in our virtual machine. So in this case, the browser here is Firefox, which is also at the top here, if you can see it. So we're going to open it. All right, it's coming, it's loading up. Yes. So we open the browser. Now there's a link. There's a link I'm going to show it to you. I think maybe Peter will help me drop the link, but we want to go to this web test here, because remember I told you that we want to be able to see live movements in our website. So this is just an example. Right? So I want to copy this link, and yeah, thank you, Peter. Yeah, so you can see it on the chat. You can copy the link from the chat. So let me go back. So I want to copy that link and just impute it there, right? So I already have, because I've used the link before, so I already have like the history of it. But once you copy it, you just press enter. Right, so it's going to It's loading up, just a few minutes. So this is what is meant to open, right? I hope you can still see my screen. Okay, yes, you can still see my screen. So this is what is going to open up as. So the next thing you want to do is we want to try and log in, right? Again, you would have invalid login. We don't even have the credentials to log in into this site. The idea is that we want to just be able to see if we can capture live traffic on our sites, right? So let's go to login. This is the login here. All right, we click on the login. So you honestly can use anything. In our class, they said we should use anon. You can use anything you want. So let me do maybe test one. Again, it's not going to be correct, so it will never log me in. I do test one, but don't click. Let me just do test. Again, you can use anything. Don't click on login just yet, right? You've put in this information. Don't click on login just yet. Let's go back to our Wireshark, right? This is our Wireshark here. This is our Wireshark. We're currently in our Wireshark. We want to make sure that this ETH is selected. Right? There are different items in this panel here. You can see this one is where you can start capturing packets. Right? This is to stop. If you want to hover on them, you can read, you can see what they do. Right? This is to restart current capture, but for now, let's just use the start and the stop. So now let's now go back. I just want to show you guys to make sure that again you must be in this ETH, right? That's where it must be in. So now let's go back and go and log in, right? So we're going to press login. I'm going to start capturing. Actually, I should have started capturing the packets before I press the login, but yeah, it's fine. So you can see invalid login. It's fine. The packet is still capturing. So let's go back to the Wireshark and we'll just press stop. We don't want long this thing, right? So just that few seconds that we did. So I was just pressing login, even if it was invalid login. Even if it was invalid login and then coming to stop the capturing, we're even able to see all this. Now from our class, the tutor mentioned something that sometimes you might not even be on a website, right? Sometimes you might not be on a website. Okay, I should recapture again. Okay, let's do that again. Let's do that again. So I'm just going to close this Wireshark. Let me just close this. For something I didn't get it, I'm going to close this Wireshark. Let's close. I'm quit without saving. It's fine. Let me close this Wireshark. So let's open up Wireshark again. So I think some people didn't get it. So I'm going to open up Wireshark again. So we have Wireshark open, right? Wireshark is currently open. Nothing is happening here. Then we have our Firefox where we did our website. That is the test website that Peter dropped on the comment, like in the comment section, right? So first thing we want to do is put in a username and a password. Again, it can be anything because we can't even log into this place. Remember, we can't log in because it's like wrong credentials, right? You can't log in. So let's go back to our Wireshark. You know, just start. Remember, this needs to be selected. Just start capturing. Once you click start capturing, let's go back to our Firefox and press login. Once you press login, we get to see this, right? So let's go back to our Wireshark and then just press stop. So I hope that was clear. So again, this is for live capturing. Do you understand? So okay, let me go ahead now. So next thing is, so these are different packet datas. These are different packet data. So anyway, source. So basically what the source means is that where is this communication originating from? So imagine you are the one searching for google.com. Your laptop or you as a person, you are the source. right? You searching for google.com. Google.com is the destination. That's what it means. So that's what source and destination means, right? So again, I'm not going to do too much. I'm just going to explain things that were being taught in the class. So these are different packets that happen during that short seconds that we just started capturing and then stopped capturing. Now, let me show you something you also see in your own when you try out this issue. Or sorry, when you try out this command. You see this one here. Let me just click on it. See this that says post login, blah, blah, blah. You see this here, right? So we're meant to know that this is how an attacker can also, if an attacker is packet sniffing, right? Packet sniffing, they're just in the background, they're just looking at what is happening to try and see if they can get like sensitive information from your site, right? So let's say this person is just sniffing on your site. They're not doing anything, they're just there looking at what is happening on your site, right? So this is what is going to happen. So when you click on the login again, so this place is where you see your different packets. This is where you see like breakdown of the information of each packet, right? And this is where you see the raw data code. I won't go into this, just going to speak about this and this, right? So when you select a packet here, this is where you go ahead to see the breakdown of that packet. So I selected this one here, this one that says login default, this one I selected. So you can see the frame, you can see the Ethernet, you can see the IP. So this is the IPv version 4. So it's an IPv4 address, which we can also see from here. It's not an IPv6. You can see the HTTP, which is the hypertext transfer protocol, and you can see the HTML. So now let's click on the HTML, like just this drop down here. You can see we can see name, password, anon, because that's what I put in that website. So even if we're not even able to log in, we can see that an attacker can actually just be on our website and just be sniffing like packets and then trying to get sensitive information. So now you don't even need to log into that website. You just need to be able to get the credentials. So in this case, now we can see that this if it's an attacker now, they are able to see our username and our password, right? So this is how live capturing works, right? So now let's do the next thing. So the second one now we're going to talk about now is the how to download or to, let's say you've been given a packet file, let's say from a few days ago, from yesterday, or from even this morning, and said, okay, you need to go through this file and find out some issues, right? So now let's do that. So I'm going to close this. And please, in the comment section, tell me if you are good with this first explanation before we go into the second one. Please just drop a comment to let me know if I can move on. Okay, so I think I will move on. Okay, all right. So I'm going to close this. Again, I don't need to save it. You can save it if you want to, but no, I don't need to save it. So let me open up Wireshark again. Let's open up Wireshark again. So doing this now, we need to import a file into our Wireshark, right? Remember, everything we are doing here is on the VM. So in this case, we need to import a packet capture file from our VM into our Wireshark, but we don't even have this file, right? So in this case, our tutor gave us a link. Peter, I think it will also help me drop the link also. This is the link. So this is the link to get this. Yeah, thank you very much, Peter. So this is the link. Once you get this, the name of the file is sample.pcap.ng. I think with packets files, I think they are called .pcap.ng, right? Just the way text files are called txt. So I'm just guessing that. So this is the entire link. Now, remember I said we are being sent a, let me just copy it down. We are being sent a file, and we need to import that file into our VM so we can be able to import it into our Wireshark, right? So let's go back to our Kali Linux. So in this case, what we're going to do is that we need to open our terminal, right? We need to open our terminal. Already I have my terminal open. Okay, it's coming up. Yes, I have my terminal open. So I won't dwell too much on Linux commands, but you can use pwd to print working directory to see where we are. We are currently in Patrick, which is me, inside my home directory. Can use ls just to view. So I use the ls command to just view the things that are inside the Patrick's directory. All right. So in this case, now what we want to do, let us want to create a directory. Now, for those that don't know, a directory is just another word for folder. That's just what it means. It's a folder basically. So in this case, now I want to create a directory. And if you've not watched our Linux command class, I would advise you try and watch it. So you get to understand some of these things and some of the commands that I would use here. So we want to create a directory. So all we have to do to create a directory is, we call it make directory, which is mkdir, right? This is make directory, and then you can create a file. So in this case, I'm going to create a Wireshark file. I won't create it because I already have it here, because if you guys can see here, if I do, I'll have a double file. So once you put mkdir space, then you put the name of the file you want. So in this case, call it Wireshark. Okay, let me do a small capital. So we call it Wireshark. Once you just press enter, that's all. Now we can't see if we've actually created this file. What we're going to use now, we're going to use the ls command, which is what I used there. This ls command is always to see what is inside where we are currently. We want to see the items that are inside there. Again, we want to see if this directory or if this folder actually created. So we used ls and then we press enter. Now you can see that it's created because this is my main folder. You can see the W is capital. And one thing with our terminal is that it's actually case sensitive. So if you do something and you use capital letter and you want to go and look for that thing again and then you use small letter, you won't find it. You understand? So my main folder that I created is called Wireshark, but I used a capital letter. But the one I just created now for you guys is same Wireshark, but I used a small letter. All right. So the next thing now is that we want to, since we created a Wireshark folder, the idea is I want to bring in that sample.pcap file into the folder, because we want to have a very neat folder. We don't just want to have things everywhere. So we want to use the command cd. So cd just means go into I can't say the full meaning of cd, but in respect to what it's just saying is just I want to go into a file here. Do you understand? So there's the desktop, there's documents. Right now you're just seeing desktop, document, download, lab, music, pictures, public, templates, all these folders. You're just seeing it. But now you want to enter one of these folders. You use the cd command, right? So in this case, use the cd command and you just put cd, then use Wireshark, right? So cd and the name of the folder you want to go into, like you want to enter inside and see. You press enter. So when you press enter, you can see this changes from this to Wireshark, which means we are inside this Wireshark folder. Again, if you are not too sure if you're inside the Wireshark folder, what you can do, you can use print working directory. That's show me where I am currently. So if you use pwd, if you press pwd and press enter, you can see that you are now inside home, you are in Patrick. Inside Patrick, you are in Wireshark, compared to this place where we're just in home and Patrick. This is the file pathway. So in this place now, we're in the Patrick directory. So inside Patrick directory, we're seeing all these desktop, document, download, music, pictures, etc. But we decided to drill down into one of these documents to go into that document, also enter inside the document. So we used CD and then the name of the document. So in this case, now we are inside Wireshark because we used CD Wireshark. So next thing is we want to be able to import that the sample pickup that we used earlier. So just go ahead and copy that link. Peter also drops the link on the chat box. So if you use your Control V, it doesn't work, you can right click and just paste clipboard. Right, you can right click and do that. So I'm going to just, when I copy, I think I copied some other things that I shouldn't have done. So I'm going to, I don't know what that 200 is. I'm going to delete stuff. Okay. So this is what we are using. So this wget, right? What wget just means is just to download something, right? Also, one other trick I use when I'm playing is that when I'm confused about something, right, I just go to AI and ask questions, right? So for example, now there's this, in our teachings we saw wget and we don't know what wget is. You can just do a very simple AI search. If you're using your Google Chrome, you can just come here, ask Gemini, maybe just click on it and say things like, oh, Common is loading up. What does wget mean? I just want to show you how I learn too, right? So you can see in Linux, wget stands for World Wide Web Get. It's a command line used to download files directly from the web. Do you understand? So again, if you're stuck anywhere, you're stuck, that's why we have the internet. You can always just go and research these things. So this is the full link. This is the full link. Peter, I think you have a comment that said you should help them also drop the link on the group, but okay, let's continue. So this is the full link to download this sample pickup file. But now you can see this link. Now there's something that looks different in it. You can see this file pathway. Again, please, if you've not seen the Linux command video, please you should try and see it because it will kind of clear up some things that I'm saying here. So this file pathway, you can see home, Kali, Wireshark, sample.pickup engine. But I am not Kali because that is not my username. Remember, my own is home and Patrick. Right? This was the example that the tutor just gave to us. So what we're meant to do is you are meant to change that Kali to your own user, like your own username. In this case, my username is Patrick. Right? You can see it here. My username is Patrick. So I'm meant to change this Kali. Right? Change the Kali to Patrick. Then the next thing now is this Wireshark. Now this Wireshark can remain the same if when you created your folder, you spelled it exactly like that. So remember I already had a Wireshark folder before I started creating, and in that Wireshark folder I used a capital letter W, right? I used a capital letter W. In this case, if I go ahead and do this, this will not work because the file pathway is saying home. Okay, that's correct. Patrick, that's correct. Wireshark, that's correct. But it is not the capital letter W, it's the small letter W. So if I go ahead and do this, this will not work. And I remember I said that Linux is very case sensitive. So anywhere there's capital letter, you have to use it exactly like that. Anywhere there's small letter, you have to use it like that. Even changing something as little as that, it won't work. So now, depending on the name you created this folder here, right, you have to also change it here too. Please, I hope that's clear. I really hope that's clear. So the things you're looking at is, first of all, you're changing that Kali to your name because it's your own folder, is your own user. Kali is not your user. You're not. It's, if you check your Kali Linux, you can see your user here. You can see Patrick at Kali. Your own might be something else, Nebuchadnezzar at Kali or something. Here, so my own user is Patrick. So that's why I needed to change that Kali to Patrick, and then the next thing now is the folder. This folder that our tutor gave us here, is it what we created when we're creating a folder to add here? If it's what we created, then we leave it. If not, we have to change it to the name of the folder that you created, right? So when we are done with that, right, when we are done with that, you just press enter. So are we good? So you just press enter. So maybe, okay, let's see if we can just try and create it again and do the file here. So remember now I've changed home. I've changed my username to Patrick. I'm going to leave the Wireshark because in this other Wireshark here, I currently have the file inside here. So let me see if I'll be able to download the file inside this new folder sorry, excuse me, it's a drink bottle. So let me see if I'll be able to download this new file into this folder, right? So next thing now is I'm making sure everything is perfect. W gets this is how it was given to us. Exactly like that. Nothing should be missing. These were 5 parts where you need to make sure it's correct. Trust me, even missing one letter is going to show error and you'll be frustrated. So just try your best to make sure that everything is, but you're making sure you are using your 5 parts way. You are changing that Kali to your name. The next thing is the document. That document now, is it the exact document that you created? If not, change that document that is there to the name of the document you want to save that folder in, right? And since you are inside the Wireshark folder, it's going to save inside the Wireshark folder that we created. Remember, because I created Wireshark folder, you could have created a folder with another name. Just remember that if you change the name and call it whatever you want to call it, you have to change this name and put that name here. This place that is Wireshark, you have to put the name of that folder there, right? And then when you are done, you go with enter, and then you're just going to leave it. It needs to download, basically, right? So you can see now, when I pressed enter, it took like a few seconds and then it showed us this. Now, if you guys can remember what is happening here, we don't know what we are seeing. We want to be able to see, okay, we are inside Wireshark folder, but we need to see what is inside Wireshark folder. Remember, this is a new folder. Nothing should have been inside when we created it. So you use the ls command again. When you use the ls command, now you can see that this sample.pcapng folder file has been downloaded into our Wireshark folder. Right, it's been downloaded into our Wireshark folder. Please drop like a comment or something if you understand to this idea is just for us to bring the folder, the file rather, into our VM so that we can go and put it on Wireshark, like our Wireshark app will go, so we can start tracking these packets. That's the idea for doing this, right? That's the idea for doing this. So just use your ls and you will now see that because my 5 parts way is correct, everything is correct here. It's going to, let me see if I can I play around? Let's see if I can do, like, maybe leave the 5 parts way the way it is. Just give me a minute. I want to just show you guys what I was explaining. So let's say in this case now, I'm going to do home Kali. Kali is not my user, so I'm not even expecting it to work. But let's say for some, Kali is not my user, so I'm not even expecting it to work. So if you come and press enter, it will not work because Kali is not my user. My user is Patrick. So I'm just making sure that, so it doesn't frustrate you, that you actually, so when I press enter, you can see it, home/Kali, no such file or directory. So there's nothing like that. So it's not going to work, right? So in our ls, we have our sample. Now let's go over to our Wireshark. All right, let's go over to our Wireshark. Okay, so one thing, before we go back to our Wireshark, we need to make sure that all the users have let's do access to this file, because you're a user, so you need to make sure that the user has all access to the file. Again, I'm not going to talk very long about the Kali Linux because this is not what we're doing. So in this case, I want to use the ls -L, right? And then just press enter. So yes, I have, so me as the user on this sample cap file, I have read writes. Let me just change it. Let me give myself everything, because why not, if not? So I'm going to give myself everything. So sample cap. Again, if this is confusing for you, that's the more reason why you should go and watch the video. So what I just literally gave myself all access, like both read writes and execute. So yes, it has changed. It has given me read write execute. I was like, here it was just read writes and no execute. Okay, so we are good. Now let's go to our Wireshark. So I'm going to go to our Wireshark now. Yeah, I'm sorry if it's very slow. If I'm very slow, I'm just trying to make sure that everyone catches on, even when you're watching the video. So now we are here. We want to now bring in that file into our Wireshark. So what we do is that we click on File, we click on Open. So click on File, click on Open. It's going to open something like this. You can just, well, this is the file, but I want to show in case your one does not immediately open from here. So if you can remember now, you can see it's showing desktop. This is Patrick. Patrick is my user. So under Patrick, see it's showing desktop, document, download, lab. If you go back to that terminal, you can see it's there. You can see it's under my profile, Patrick. You can see desktop, documents, download, lab. This. That's to show you that okay, it's actually the right. I'm actually in the right place, right? So I'm going to look for my Wireshark. You know, I told you I already have one Wireshark I created. That was capital letter, but what we use is the small letter one. So I'm going to open this one that is small letter. I'm going to click on it, come down here, and then click on open. When you click on open, it's now going to put, that's opening the folder, right? So inside that folder, remember we had downloaded this sample pcap ng. You just click on it and then click on open. It's going to load into your Wireshark, right? So now you have the captures or the packets from, let's say, like yesterday, based on what your manager gave to you, and say, okay, oh, this was, now you have to go through this and try to look for different issues, right? But now this is just to show us, first of all, that apart from doing live capture, we can actually get a file and import it into our Wireshark and go through it, right? So first of all, I think, hope I'm not too fast. So I'm going to go ahead and continue. I'm just trying to make sure we're not here for long. So there are different things you can do on this page. So there are different things you're looking at. There's the protocol, HTTP, TCP. There's even DNS you get to see here. There are different kinds of protocols, right? And remember what I said about the source, the destination. So for NO, this is the number. That is number one, number two, number one packet, number two packet, like that. But at the bottom here, you can see the total number of packets. So this file we downloaded has 14,261 packets. That's what it has, right? The next thing is the time. The next is the source. I've explained what the source is. I explained what the destination is. Source is, again, is where that data is originating from. And then destination is where it's going to, right? Then we have the protocol. Then we have the protocol, and then we have the length, right? We have the length, we have the source ports, we have destination ports, we have info. So I'm just going to, so let's look for something. So first thing we're going to look for, let's say, for example, we want to filter by protocol. So this is the protocol here. We have HTTP, DNS. You see this little apply a display filter here. This is where you go to type anything you want to type to be able to drill down into this large packet file. So let's just, I'll explain something. Let's just HTTP, right? And anytime you are typing and you see red, it means something is wrong. You either maybe you've got something wrong, or maybe you're not done typing what you're typing. But the moment it's green, which means yes, you're good to go. So let's press enter. When we press enter now, you can see that the only thing we'll be able to see here is informations relating to HTTP. All right, that's the only thing we're meant to see here. See informations related to HTTP. So you can look at different things. You can see gets. You can see this HTTP code, and most of HTTP, you are looking at HTTP, which means it's a web application, right? That's what hypertext transfer protocols is mainly a web application, right? So I'm going to also send I'll drop a link. I'll send a link to Peter so you can drop on the chat. So you see, you have 200, you have 200, you have 200. These are HTTP codes, right? 200 means okay. Now, if you joined the class earlier, Peter had explained what these different, like he picked out some codes and then explained what they are. And I'm going to give you something I found out while I was learning. I found a website that shows you this HTTP code, but they use cats to do it, right? They use cats. So if you go to http.cat, right? Peter, please just help me drop it on the chat. http.cat. You would see every single codes and what they mean. So you see that 200 means okay. You can even click and read more about it, right? If I click 200, yes, they use cats to just make it fun. They make it funny. So you see, it says the HTTP 200 OK success status response code indicates that the request has succeeded. So you can get to see different. I know we've been on the website. We've seen maybe we just access the website and we'll see maybe 404. You can just scroll down and come and see, oh, what does 404 even mean? Say 404 means not found. In this case, what does it mean? You can click on it and read. Say, okay, 404 not found response status code indicates that the server cannot find the requested source. Maybe you put google.com and you are seeing 404 error code. You can know this is what 404 means, right? So this is what I use to understand some error codes that I see. There are so many. So they are up to 599. They're up to 599. It would tell you everything. You can go through it. Yeah, I think Peter will drop it on the http.cat. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Peter. So once you go to that link, you will be able to see all these codes. So you don't need to have them off it, honestly. And like our tutor always say, you cannot have everything off it. Even she, like teaching us, does not have everything off it. So don't show yourself thinking of having everything off it. That's why you have the internet, and that's why you have things like this. So apart from HTTP, you can filter by let's say maybe for some reason, right? We are seeing that, oh, a certain destination keeps showing maybe 400. Now in this case, what does 400 mean? Let's go back to our 400 means bad request, or maybe we are seeing things like unauthorized. Okay, if let's say 401. So we're in our packet and we are seeing things like 401, 401. You can tell that okay, there's something wrong here. You can decide that you want to, let us drill down into that IP address and see what that IP address is doing. So remember, this is filter here. You can play with anything you want to do. So now you want to check IP addresses. If you check our file or the documents that was uploaded on our LMS, you will see some of these filters that I'm using. So they're not new. I didn't learn them. I learned them from the documents that our tutor dropped, right? So to check for IP address, you just use ip.addr space equals to just means equals to, right? That's just what it means. So, and it's an operator. Again, if you go through yourself, you understand what operator is. So let's say for some reason I want to drill down into maybe, let's pick this one, maybe this 65.55.226.209. So let's write it there, 65.55.26.209. And we just press enter. So what we're saying here is that show me all data that has to do with this IP address. So that equals to means that this is this IP address I want to see. So it can either be the source, it can either be a destination. But see something like this 192.168.3.31.72.14, it will not show us that one because this is not part of what we are saying we want to see. This is what we want to see. So we're going to press enter. So are you seeing? So out of that 14,261,000 packets, we only have 6 packets that are related to that IP address. All right. And then you cannot get to see more information. You can see, okay, you cannot get to do your investigation. Do you understand? So I'm just showing how you can use the display filter. You can get to now see drill down by an IP address. Maybe you can even be going through that and then you see, there's this IP address that keeps sending bad requests, like over 10, 20 bad requests. Why is it doing that? You want to drill down into that IP address. You use something like this. It will show you both the IP address as a source and as a destination, so you can see what's happening with the IP address and also drill down in your investigation, right? So let me just clear this and press enter so I can go back to the main page. So also you can decide to look at them as maybe you want to see an IP address and say, okay, maybe you want to see the IP address as the source, right? And say, okay, see this IP address now. I want to see what are the requests that is coming from this IP address. Remember, we said the source is the data that is originating from that place. So you can also say, okay, I don't want to see this IP address as a destination. Maybe I want to see it as only a source. Again, just do the same thing. Again, this thing I'm doing is on our LMS documents, right? And also I also got some from the additional resources that was dropped there too. So you can also just look at it. You don't need to be overwhelmed. You can also just look at it, right? So sorry, I said I want to see coming from source. So this IP address .src just means source, right? I think DST means destination, right? Yeah, DST means destination. SRC just means source. So I'm going to do that and say equals to. Remember, this equals to is an operator. It's also on our document, on our LMS. If you check the Wireshark cheat sheet, you will see some operators there, but I can quickly touch on it. But let's say I want to see 192.168.3.131. Then I press enter. So what it's going to do now is that every place in these our packets, that this 192.168 is a source. We want to see the information that is originating from this place, right? You press and just press enter. So you can see it now. Everything on the source now is 192.168. So we can see everything. We can see who is talking to. We can see that 192.168 sends a GET request to this destination. We can see it send a GET request to this. Again, this just depending on whatever you're looking for based on the attack, right? It can help you check all this, right? So you have it, and some of them are color code. So you can see there, some of them are in some way, like a different color. I think that's how they set it when they sent us the packets, right? But that's how to also check for IP addresses in the source and in destination. Right now, there's something called the TCP three-way handshake, right? I'll just quickly breeze through. So the TCP three-way handshake is, as a source, you're trying to connect to a destination. So let's say we now here with our laptop, we're trying to connect to google.com. Now, before we can, no, let me find that thing. We here now, we're trying, I'd like to say Sportybet, don't mind me. We here now, we're trying to connect to, let's say, dstv.com, right? And dstv.com has its own IP address, right? We put dstv.com. So before we even go to that dstv.com website, there's a handshake that happens in the background, right? This handshake is between our computer and DSTV servers. So it's creating that connection to say, okay, you can go ahead and we can go ahead and share, and we can go ahead and like share data. Do you understand? We can go ahead and share data. So TCP handshake, the first thing is that the source, which is us, we are going to send a SYN command, or we're not the one doing it, it's going to automatically send a SYN command to DSTV server, right? So SYN is synchronization, SYN, right? When it sends a SYN command, DSTV server needs to acknowledge that synchronization, right? They need to acknowledge that command and say, okay, oh, we've seen that you're trying to connect to us. Okay, I've acknowledged it. So they're going to send a SYN ACK right now. A SYN ACK just means synchronization acknowledgement, because I, as a source, send SYN to the destination, which is DSTV, and then DSTV reply me saying, okay, sorry, excuse me, I've acknowledged that you're trying to connect to my server. Then we, as a source, will now send them back and say acknowledge, which is ACK. So that is 3. So first one is a SYN is sent. Second one is that the DSTV or the destination's IP address or server sends an acknowledgement, which is a SYN ACK. And then we now replied with an ACK. So once that 3-way handshake happens, we will now automatically start accessing the DSTV network, right? So let me see if I can show you something here. So I'm going to drill down into TCCP. Sorry, TCCP. I always drill down into TCP. So let's use TCP. We'll soon be coming to the end. Let's just use TCP. So see what I'm saying. Let me look for. Okay, so let's use. Yes, thank God we saw this. And you know, there's a lot of things to read also. But when we are in the professional world, right? I'm sure there'll be easier ways to read this. And imagine going through 14,261 packets. There will be easier ways to read it, right? But this is all for learning purposes. So we need to now to read all these things one by one. Can give headache. So you see this one, and let's start from here. Let's do this one. So you can see 192.168.3.131 wants to send, it wants to get information from 65.55.5.232, which is the destination. So what's the first thing it did here? You can see it here. It sent a SYN, which is, oh, please, come and allow me. I want to check. I want to access your site. I want to browse through your site. I want to do whatever I want to do on my site, on your site. It sends a SYN, right? So what happens? Okay, no, let's use the second one. I think this is one that completed it. Yes, I think it's this one. Again, I have to look for these things one by one. But okay, we have this one that is 232. 232. I'm coming. Just bear with me. I'm trying to look for. Okay, because it's scattered, but I think I've seen it. I'm going to show you. Sometimes you might not see that SYN ACK and ACK simultaneously, like see them back to back to back. It might not be possible because DSTV.com, you're searching DSTV.com. 100 other people are searching DSTV.com. So all of you are searching DSTV.com, which means all of you are being given the 3-way handshake. So there's a slim chance that you would see your own connection go back to back to back, which is do SYN ACK and ACK. Sometimes it will be scattered around. And I'm going to give you an example. So this 192.168 sends a SYN synchronization to this 65.55.5.232. It says, okay, I want to connect to your server, right? I want to connect to your server. Give me acknowledgement. So it sends a SYN. Now, what the next thing I'm going to look for now is that this destination will now become a source because it has to now send an acknowledgement to this 192. Right, so let's look for where that 65.55. This is it here now. Exactly. You can see here. This is it here. So now you see that between here and here, we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 people have already like tried to connect to the DSTV server. Right. So I'm showing you this because you might not be able to see that connection, that 3-way handshake back to back to back. Sometimes it can be scattered around. So you just need to know how to search. You understand? So in this case, now what if you want to even make it faster, you would have just searched for the IP address, this IP address here, and then look for the SYN, but that's beside it. So now the next thing that this one here, .32, that's 65.55.5.232 now sends an acknowledgement saying, okay, your SYN has been acknowledged. SYN is synchronization, not SYN like SYN in the Bible, but SYN is synchronization. So your synchronization acknowledged it. So the next thing is that this 192 will now acknowledge that acknowledgement. It's like it's telling it saying, oh, thank you for allowing me get access to it. And then they can now start passing data. So what are we looking for next? Now we're looking for where this 192 will acknowledge the acknowledgement of this 65, right? So let's look for it now. 192.31. Let's see. Yes, this one even followed each other. Yeah, this one even followed. You see, it was here. This is SYN ACK. The next thing is ACK. So you can see that these two IP addresses has done a three-way handshake, which is the SYN ACK, and the ACK. And you can see now they've started sharing data. So you can see the next thing that shows now is get client. So this get just means basically send me, like they want to start browsing basically. So you can see that the three-way handshake has been connected and they can now start browsing. So now imagine, I don't think we'll be able to see it though, because this is a lot of data to go through, but imagine when the three-way handshake is not completed. So in this case, now let's imagine that this 192.168.3 sent a SYN to this one, right, which is the destination. The destination now replied and said SYN ACK. So instead of this 192 now to do this, which is to say, okay, acknowledged, it will not send a SYN again. Why is it doing that? The destination has already said, oh, go ahead and connect with me. And you're not sending another SYN. So that is a red flag. You as the security person will start looking at that. Okay, why are we getting so many SYN requests to this our destination? Like, who is this IP address? You can now drill into that IP address and even go as far, but you can't do that on Wireshark. When we start learning things about the whole CM tools, we'll not be able to block all those IP addresses with firewalls and the rest. But for now, that's how you can know. So when a connection does not do a three-way handshake, then there's a problem, which means the source might be trying to scan different ports, right? The source might be trying to scan different ports and just trying to see, okay, where are the vulnerability? So it's just sending SYN. And there's a point it will send SYN, a lot of SYN. It's going to crash that destination IP address. So imagine this 192 is sending SYN over and over and over again. If you guys are in one of the classes, you can remember when our tutor said something like, imagine someone asks you a question, you've not replied, person is asking a question, you'll get overwhelmed at a point. So there's a point you can get overwhelmed and just crash. And if you join the class earlier, you remember Peter said something about DOS, so denial of service. So someone can just be flooding that dscv.com with SYN. They're not even giving the dscv.com a chance to even reply this to SYN ACK. You just keep flooding. At a point, it starts getting very weak because you're not giving a chance to actually reply you. And before you know it, that destination or that site can just crash because it's too much SYN request, right? So you as a security person, you get to see, okay, this is what that person is doing, all right? So lastly, also if you want to check MAC addresses, right? So we check IP address. When you want to check MAC address, again, it's on our LMS documents. So just put eth.addr and then just put the MAC address, right? It will just search. It's going to get things like let's see. Right, so there's nothing related to this MAC address here. So you can see that it's empty and then it's showing us 0. But that's how to check for MAC addresses, right? So these other panels down here, this is where you just get to drill more information about. You can see this one. When I click Ethernet is showing me the MAC address of the destination. It's showing me the MAC address of the source also, right? Showing me the MAC address of the source also. So it's IP for you check. It's just to literally just to go through it. You can get to see different information about that packet based on what you are looking for, right? So as you can see, the destination ports, different flags. So you can just get to see what's happening on each packets, and then just get to drill down on each packet. Basically, that's just what it means, right? So I think I'll stop here. I think we've actually taken lots of time. I didn't plan for us to go this long, but yes, I think I'll stop here. So what you can do is the recordings will be available, obviously. So you can reach out on the group and just ask questions, and then we on the group can just reply based on if you have any confusion. and you need like explanation for something, there's no time to really talk about the Wireshark cheat sheet. But please, when you've done all this, remember you still have the Wireshark cheat sheet. You can go there, read the things that is like read the commands there, and then come and try them in the filter. Just play around with it, put them in the filter, see what they show you, see how to read them. Do you understand? So yeah, so I think this comes to the end of my pep talk. Hope I've been able to convince you and not confuse you that cybersecurity is a lot, but we'll get there. So thank you very much, guys. Need to stop sharing now. Yeah, so I think yeah, thank you very much, guys. I think Peter would, if there's anything Peter wants to say. If not, I think we can just end it because I think we're good to go. Except Peter has something that he wants to say. If not, then
All right. Okay, guys. Thank you so much, Ebuka. I really appreciate the efforts. It's very, very amazing. Thank you so much. All right. So I still have just few things to add real quick. It won't take our time. I just want to show us through some things. Yeah, hold on, please. All right. Okay. So I believe you can see my screen now. So Ebuka has already done justice to all these things, and he has actually break everything down for us. So I just want to talk about some things. If you notice, you are going to see different colors over here. We have the light blue, we have the green, red, and the likes. So green actually means TCP packets. Anytime you are seeing color green, it means TCP packets. Then if you see deep blue, I don't think we have a deep blue here. Deep blue is for DNS packets, and light blue also is for UDP packets. And you are going to be seeing some black also. So this black also means TCP packets with issues. So it's going to be easier for you to navigate through the TCP packet that has issues. Now, now I'm just going to be talking about the filter a little bit in just like in 2 minutes. Let's say you are the network analyst that was given this particular packet file. So you can actually easily find a particular IP address or a particular uh, website address that you're looking for. You can actually use the HTTP that Ibuka has already taught us through. But there's another way we can do it is by using the Control plus F key. So this Control plus F key, okay, the other time we see that Ibuka was actually checking through the packet file for the sync and the sync arc. Just as a beginner, you have to look through everything. But with this particular Control F key, you're able to find it. So for instance now, okay, I search for sync. So if I clicking on find, you will see it's going to move through everywhere that we have seen. So it will be easy for you to search for anything you want to search for. So and that's it. So now I just want to break down a little thing also. You know, the site that we went to, that testvonneb or .com, that particular site is an HTTP website, which means it is not secured. The website is not secured, which is why it is easier for us to capture the login that was entered to that particular site. Let's say you are on a network with an attacker, and the attacker is actually sniffing through everything here. If the attacker did not downgrade your HTTPS or your HSTS down to HTTP, they won't be able to capture your form fields. Although they will be seeing your IP address where you are sending things to, but they won't be able to capture the particular login credentials you inputted, because That's the reason why we have the SSL. If you remember why we are talking about the DNS, domain name server system, and the likes, we talked about, I think we talked about SSL. For the website developers, they are going to understand what SSL means. So let me just uh, explain what SSL means so that we'll be able to get that. So SSL is actually like a security. I think it's secure socket layer. Let's go to Google, for instance, google.com. So now we're in google.com. So if you notice, you are going to see a padlock over here. You are going to see a padlock over there, which means google.com is secured. But in the case that the attacker has downgraded your HTTPS down to HTTP, Google is no longer going to be secured. You understand? But Google has been configured in a way that even if you type HTTP, it's still going to bring out that HTTPS, the secured server. So let's click on this now so that you can see. It says connection secured. You are securely connected to this site, verified by Google Trust Services. So there are a lot of times that you can be on a network and a man in the middle, like an attacker, can actually, you are on the same network and it can actually downgrade your HTTPS down to HTTP. In doing that, it will now be able to access your website, your credentials, able to see everything. So as you can see in this test site, you can see that the connection is not secure, which is the reason why we can capture the login credentials on this particular website. So if you go to netflix.com and you try to log in, you input default or different stuff in here, and you go to Wireshark trying to capture the things, you are not going to see anything because they are going to be encrypted. They are going to be encrypted. Although there are some other tools that can be used to decrypt these things, but we are not yet there. So I'm just going to be focusing on packet sniffing and the likes. So that's just what I want to share with you. I hope I've actually, been able to like tell you some stuff. And also, there's another website that we can use to learn Wireshark. So I'm going to be dropping the link uh in the community. So this is actually a free online course, self-paced course. You can see here, free online course. It is self-paced in order for you to learn more about Wireshark and the likes. So that will be all for this lesson. If you have any question, just like we said earlier, you can reach out to me or Ebuka or anybody in the community, and we'll be able to like take you through everything. So guys, thank you and have a wonderful day, the rest of your day and night. All right, guys, bye.